Knowing something seems like a great idea. When we think we know, it gives us the illusion that we learn something that is true. Although, when we take the time to observe nature and everything that surrounds us, we find out quickly that everything is bound to change. There's nothing fixed in this universe. Everything around us is in constant fluctuation. This is why knowledge itself seems never to reach a final answer. Well, we got the illusion that there is a fixed rule about something, but ultimately there is nothing fixed forever in the world of knowledge. Knowledge itself is constantly changing. We only have to observe science, and we learn that in the history of science there have been many changes of concepts and ideas about how reality works. We can read and listen to stories about the false perception of so-called scientists in the past that determined certain laws and explanations. Then, over time, reaching this present moment, a lot of these theories had been debunked. What once was totally clear now seems to be at least unclear, or even the total opposite of what was mentioned before. You may argue, you can't say that you are not a scientist. Right? Maybe you and me, we are not scientists. We are just normal people. And we have our little knowledge about the world. Not long ago, many of those listening had these bookshelves with maybe 20, 30, 50 books. Books that had the intention to explain the world in detail, just in case that any question arises. When you ever looked at these huge mountains of paper, you might have felt intimidated. The proud owner of the bookshelf made a visible statement, like he possesses all the knowledge. Do you really think that all this information can be stored in your brain? There's actually a limit of how much information can be stored at a time simultaneously in your awareness as humans. Everything else is performed by yogis and entertainers using memorization techniques. There are quite some limitations regarding our abilities to present knowledge. So, as a result, should we just drop the idea of acquiring any kind of knowledge because it's futile and senseless? That is definitely up to your personal preference and not up for discussion. But having the occasion to reflect on the question, I would like to suggest something that might help you to evaluate if it's worth to acquire knowledge. There is this one knowledge, which is the source of all, the one that rules everything. It is the one knowledge from which everything emerges. Beyond the eternal change of all and everything that we can observe, analyze, and judge about, there is knowledge which reveals the eternal source from which everything emanates. If you know about that one, then you know everything. Would you like to know? To really understand what I'm talking about, I would like to invite you to learn from a famous ancient metaphor from Non-Duality teachings that I can use to explain the meaning. Let's talk about gold. When you know what gold is, then you know it is the essence of the golden ring, the essence of the necklace or the golden cup. Nobody can fool you. You learned to know about the essence of the golden toilet some like to use. The form that gold takes when transformed into those mentioned objects does not in any way diminish its real nature. It is, has been, and will always remain gold. If we understand what gold is, then we know the essence of all these objects made out of gold. Someone could uninstall the golden toilet, melt it, and convert it into 100,000 necklaces. This action would not change the essence of what it is. It still is gold. Although knowing what gold is, you do not know all the forms gold can take, but you know what these are made from and what their qualities are. Gold exists in infinite forms, but all of those objects are still known as gold. As humans, we are easily distracted by forms of objects. If you see a necklace, there is a chance you might miss its essence. But once you learn what the golden necklace is made of, you know its secret. But we are not talking about gold. This is just a metaphor. We are talking about the one thing that by knowing that, you know everything. This one essence of everything in existence is the one true knowledge that rules all existing infinite forms. In history, many scientists desired to know about some kind of material basic object that is the essence of all objects. They had quite a celebration when they discovered the atom, but they did not stop there and might not stop ever because they are too part of the infinite amount of forms and expressions of objects in existence. What if that one building brick of infinite things is not really a material object, but is created by a source that is not of material origin? What if it originates from a metaphysical source? By knowing what is the source of everything, you have achieved the ultimate knowledge. So, what is it then? Nope, I won't answer this question. I will not take away your excitement. I guess it is better to let you yourself dig deeper into the world of knowledge. Not only that, but I would encourage you to investigate further. I must leave it up to you to discover it for yourself. It does not solve anything if I tell you what you should know. The only way to real knowledge is only possible when you know that by yourself. But at least you know something now. There is this one knowledge. By knowing that, you know everything. I guess this is a golden opportunity for you to discover it for yourself, what exactly that is. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.